All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to explore how Carl Jung's psychological framework actually transforms personal burnout and emotional withdrawal into what is essentially a profound graduation of the soul. Now, if you've been feeling a massive internal shift lately, I need you to know that you are absolutely not alone. What might feel like a withdrawal or even an ending to you right now is actually the psychological hero's journey playing out in real time. So, we're going to look at the exact mechanics of the shift, tracing the path from deep internal integration all the way to the incredible power of your own silence.
Let me ask you something. Have you suddenly lost the urge to desperately chase after answers or to run after people who honestly don't prioritize you? A lot of people misinterpret this phase. They look at you and they think, oh, they've just become indifferent, or that you've emotionally flatlined, mostly because the dramas that used to totally run your life suddenly seem, well, completely insignificant. But I want to speak directly to you here. If you're feeling this, it is not numbness. No way. It's actually a sign that you have survived the soul's ultimate test. This newfound calmness of yours, it's the most intense form of strength you can have, a true mastery over what actually matters versus what is just, frankly, background noise.
Which brings us to Section 1, the integration of the soul. Let's look at how this builds into our first major internal shift. This is the moment where the fragmented parts of your psyche finally come together. That grueling war that's been raging between your conscious and your unconscious mind, it's finally over, allowing this deep, stabilizing peace to take over. You're no longer projecting your own internal wounds onto the outside world. Carl Jung actually had a name for this precise process. He called it individuation. It demands this really necessary psychological space of solitude. Think of it kind of like a forest, right? You have to clear out the old, diseased trees so that new sunlight can pierce through the canopy and spark fresh growth. In this quiet space, old attachments and those dysfunctional relationship patterns just naturally unravel. It might feel like your social circle is emptying out, sure, but it's not emptiness. It's literally the creation of space for a coherent, deeply authentic version of you to form. I actually want to slow down for a second just to emphasize this absolutely brilliant Jungian philosophy. Jung knew, without a doubt, that the psyche and the physical body are deeply intertwined. When you integrate your psyche and clear out those emotional blockages, your vital energy can finally flow freely again. And it's fascinating. During this phase, people so often report the spontaneous fading of physical complaints. Chronic aches or tension just sort of vanish. Basically, when the soul finally achieves peace, the body simply follows suit. Moving right along to Section 2, manifesting through wholeness. That incredible internal healing totally sets the stage for our next concept. Let's dig into the actual mechanics of wholeness. There is this massive paradox at play here. The universe begins to open its floodgates precisely when you stop needing things desperately. It's wild, but exactly when you accept that you're already complete, even if you are entirely alone, the doors to real connection and abundance just fly open. To understand why, let's look at this comparison. Manifesting from a place of lack, like desperate visualization or forced positivity, actually sends out a frequency of not having. You are literally broadcasting your emptiness. But when you create from a place of wholeness, you're broadcasting that you are completely 100% ready to receive. You're sending out a signal of internal abundance, and the outside world really has no choice but to reflect that new reality right back to you. Now, what's genuinely fascinating is how Jung studied these meaningful coincidences. He realized pretty quickly that they aren't random at all. When you think of someone and they suddenly call you out of the blue, or you ask the universe a question and it immediately answers you through a random encounter or a line in a book, those are synchronicities. They are clear-cut external signals that your individual energy is vibrating in perfect harmony with the deeper currents of life. You're finally in the flow. So, what does this internal transformation actually look like in your day-to-day life? Well, you're going to start noticing some really subtle signs. Alongside those magical synchronicities we just talked about, your unconscious mind begins preparing for abundance through incredibly clear symbolic dreams. Think of things like flowing water or opening doors. You'll also probably feel this magnetic physical energy. Don't be surprised if strangers suddenly start smiling at you more, or if animals seem drawn to you. And your power of manifestation shifts completely. Instead of trying to force outcomes, things just seem to materialize through a light, playful sort of intention. If all of this is sounding just a little bit too mystical, let's ground it in an objective psychological law from Jung, enantiodromia. It's a big word, but it's simply the principle that absolutely everything inevitably turns into its opposite once it reaches its absolute peak. So what does that mean for you? It means after your longest wait comes the fastest manifestation. After your deepest, most painful darkness, the absolute brightest light is inevitably triggered. It's just a fundamental psychological law of balance. And that leads us to section 3, the art of receiving. Okay, here's where things can get a little tricky. This brings us to one of the hardest lessons for those of us who are so used to struggling, fighting, and just surviving. How on earth do you learn to actually accept the universe's gifts without immediately self-sabotaging? Let's be honest, when you're incredibly used to scarcity, managing sudden abundance can feel super foreign and uncomfortable. It is vital to understand that receiving is not just sitting back passively. It requires a really conscious, active decision to transcend your ego's obsessive need to control exactly how, where, and when that abundance arrives. You literally have to drop the old conditioning that says you have to suffer to earn good things. Opt instead for radical self-acceptance. Let life surprise you by being so much larger and way more creative than your own plans could ever be. Let's step into section 4, the power of silence. Now let's pivot to the external relational side of this wholeness. What actually happens when you withdraw all that overextended energy from one-sided, unreciprocated dynamics? Look, for a long time, you might have been the one carrying the conversation, making all the effort, constantly trying to prove your worth. But eventually, there comes a time when the absolute best response isn't a word, it's your absence. Stepping back like this kicks off a very specific psychological process. Step 1 is the initial anxiety. You're going to worry if you made the right choice or if your silence is just going to be misunderstood. But if you hold firm, you reach step 2, the emerging clarity of your own voice. You finally stop running after others and you actually hear yourself, which naturally drops you right into step 3, conscious selectivity. You regain your dignity, realizing you really don't need to be understood by everyone to be whole. The absolute game changer here is that a person who truly discovers their worth completely stops waiting anxiously to be chosen. The energy shifts, quite literally, from this anxiety of, oh no, will they pick me, to the deeply grounded power of setting firm criteria for who you actually allow into your space. You're not building walls to push people away anymore. You're establishing healthy standards that absolutely must be met for someone to get close to you. Because the truth is, real connection doesn't mean you have to constantly beg for crumbs or shrink yourself down just to fit into someone else's tiny emotional spaces. Silence is an incredibly powerful tool because it brilliantly illuminates who is actually there for you and who is just lazily benefiting from your habit of overgiving. Love stops being this panicked attempt to fill a void in your chest and transforms into a calm, serene choice made between two completely whole individuals. Moving to our final part, section 5, continuous individuation. Let's look at how genuine relational magnetism and continuous personal growth stem directly from a deeply mastered internal world. When you stop acting just to provoke reaction, your energy shifts from seeking to attracting. You develop this really quiet, grounded confidence that inevitably draws people in. And this right here is Jung's ultimate secret to human attraction. It's not governed by superficial pickup tactics, memorized lines, or even physical appearance. It's governed by the alignment of your deep internal masculine and feminine energies, the animus and the anima. When a person completely integrates these forces within themselves, they become incredibly magnetic, mostly because they're operating from a place of deep psychological depth rather than a place of superficial need. And this brilliantly illustrates the core truth of the whole shebang. Manifesting the right partner, the right career, or the right life path happens naturally only when you align vibrationally with your most authentic, integrated self. You don't attract what you anxiously desire, you attract a perfect reflection of who you have become through your own inner work. But listen, with this kind of massive abundance comes responsibility. In this new phase, you really have to set strict, healthy boundaries to protect your energy from people who just want to drain your new light. You also have to guard yourself against the trap of ego inflation. Please, don't mistake your healing for superiority. Individuation isn't a final destination where you just put your feet up and stop growing. It's a lifelong, infinitely unfolding dance that requires you to maintain a very humble, beginner's mind. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. You've passed the tests, you've survived the darkest nights of the soul, and you've emerged completely whole. The universe didn't put you through all of that just so you could hide away in a cave. It prepared you so you could take your integrated, incredibly magnetic self out into the world, not just to survive it, but to consciously share your healing light. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with all this beautiful abundance? Thank you so much for joining us, and keep exploring your true potential.